Polo G's latest arrest has been kept very silent from the media lately, but with the trial now starting very soon, things are heating up. These charges can leave Polo G locked up for 5+ years, so we need to talk about it. Now let's get straight into it. Now, on September 7th, rapper Polo G was out and about on a Monday afternoon in downtown LA. On the official arrest report from the courtroom, it reported that Polo G was sitting in the passenger seat in a vehicle that was pulled over in a traffic violation. Although it's not clear exactly why the vehicle was pulled over, it could have been many different things. Police say that after searching the vehicle, they found a firearm that allegedly is owned by none other than rapper Polo G. And we're told that a male juvenile was also arrested and booked with the same charge as Polo G. So this arrest comes nearly 3 months after the release of his newest album. We're also told that he was arrested once again in Miami after allegedly having an altercation with a police officer. Police claim that they also found 2 firearms inside of a handbag after the Cadillac that he was driving in was pulled over for having very tinted windows. And then once again in that arrest, Polo G was the passenger once again, and the firearms were allegedly sitting closest to his seat. Now, Polo G has ongoing issues with holding illegal firearms. Typically, when you get arrested for it over and over again, the judge is more likely to think of you as a dangerous person to have out in the community. You're one to always need to have a firearm with you for whatever reason. Now, this would be the same issue that NBA YoungBoy is currently dealing with. Now, with rapper Polo G being arrested twice for the exact same charge of carrying an illegal firearm without a license, and then also adding the altercation with an officer that was caught by witnesses, as well as his body camera, these 2 trials starting, it's going to be said that Polo G is looking at 5+ years in prison, with having the chance of being released on bond or some sort of house arrest. But due to the arrest record of Polo G, we could be looking at an even longer sentence, and here's where it starts. Now, the criminal history of Polo G is probably the most concerning part of it all. One thing that many people don't know is that Polo G was once arrested 6 times back to back to back and so on. Polo G spoke about all of this in an interview that he did with DJ Vlad. He mentions that none of these cases were too serious to the point of him facing double-digit years in prison, but it's still very serious in the sense that if he gets arrested one more time, he will be doing prison time. And this is all due to his prior arrest. You can't just keep getting arrested over and over and over again without the legal system saying, you know what, that's enough, we're gonna give you some prison time, so hopefully you learn what the law is. Now, within the last 3 months, Polo G has now been arrested 2 more times. This is for firearm charges as well as the altercation with the officer. So when you add it all together, he has a total of 8 to 9 arrests with the law. Now, a very serious charge on Polo G's record, which actually gives you the reason as to why Polo G is always in the passenger seat of vehicles, is that when Polo G was involved in a high-speed chase with law enforcement, where he was caught driving in a stolen vehicle that he found in a parking lot and that he broke into and hotwired. Now, he discusses the entire situation in an interview that he did with DJ Vlad. And in detail, Polo G said he ended up breaking into this vehicle that had nobody around and it was parked in a parking lot. When getting into the car and getting it hotwired, he ended up using this car to just drive around and get some things done. Law enforcement was then called saying that this vehicle was stolen. A license plate was then given to law enforcement, and then they were on the hunt for the vehicle. Law enforcement then caught Polo G driving this vehicle out on the streets. and when it was reported stolen, they ended up sending 2 cruisers to go look for it. Once the car was flagged, it was actually spotted then getting on the highway. Polo G took it onto the highway as he noticed abundance of cops sitting on the main streets. A high-speed chase then broke out. Polo G ended up going down the highway at an alarming speed and then hitting the main streets once again. When going through the main streets, Polo G ended up running into a lot of traffic at an intersection where he ended up swerving the vehicle and he ended up crashing the car, which caused a lot of issues for him in court, as this all happened on New Year's Eve. Now, if you know anything about New Year's Eve, you would know that the streets are filled with people celebrating it and everything like that. People going from place to place, hanging out with their friends, celebrating the new year. Now, luckily when the car was crashed, there was nobody hurt at the incident, but this definitely could have caused some very serious trouble for Polo G if somebody was affected by this. And if somebody was affected by this, we never would have had Polo G, the rapper that we have today. Now, one thing that we do not want to see is Polo G fall into the legal system. He's way too big of a talent for something like that, but sadly, rappers having issues carrying illegal firearms is a very common thing, and it's for the simple reason that they would rather be caught with it than caught without it, which is very understandable. And you're probably wondering why they don't just get a firearm license. And well, a majority of them have been arrested previously for having illegal firearms, being caught with them, being caught using them, things in that nature. And when you've been arrested previously for having an illegal firearm, it makes it very, very hard to get yourself a license, even if you are a celebrity. That's why we have seen even rappers like DaBaby having very, very often ongoing issues with holding an illegal firearm, as he did just get arrested for having it as well just a few months ago. Polo G's trial is set to start very soon, within the next upcoming months, probably in the first quarter of 2022. The most likely result is that Polo G will have to pay some sort of fine, probably have to be placed on house arrest in my personal opinion, as well as some probation being set on him, as well as some warnings that if he gets caught with a firearm again, then he will actually be doing a long prison sentence. But if you do want to stay up to date with everything going on in this court case, make sure you just leave a like on the video and don't forget to subscribe. We upload daily videos about all things rapper related every single day, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you are new, make sure you check out some of our old videos here on the end screen or in the description tab down below.